Small group, but
So I would like to thank everyone for coming. I'm Kathy Byers, I'm the mayor. Most of you know me, but anyway. I would first like to thank Starlight Ranch Association for letting us use the barn. With some changes with our laws, we can no longer hold any kind of candidates or campaigning at town hall. So in the future, hopefully they'll be able to allow us to use their facilities again. But that's kind of where we are today. So we moved it here, and I think this works great. I've been in this place before, in this building, and it seats a lot of people, so it's really nice. I just want to let everyone know that this is on YouTube Live, so you can watch it at your leisure, but it is on the town's YouTube channel, so you should be able to watch it then. First of all, we only have one microphone, so we'll kind of see some switching back and forth. This is Duke Dance. He's with SCI Media, and he is going to be the moderator tonight. And we kind of passed out some phone numbers, his phone number, so you can text your questions. He also has a few questions that were prepared by the town council. So let's get started. So we can start. I'm going to start with you, Marty, since you're standing close to me. I know. So if you would just come up here and introduce yourself and give a short statement as to where you're running from. Yeah.
Hi, I was familiar territory committee. I was on the council back in 2016 through 2020, and I enjoyed that time on there. There was some, interesting things that we did. We did a lot of different things. We purchased the town hall. We equalized the number of water rates. We did a number of different things for procedures and budgets and whatnot. And I'd like to continue that, to keep the quality of life here for our members and our residents up to as high as we can get. There's a few things that still need to be worked on. We'll talk about those.
I'm Taylor Ellis. I'm currently on the town council, and I'm running again so we can continue to move the town forward and deal with some of the issues that are starting to crop up and make sure everything moves forward smoothly so that we can move into the future. Peter?
I'm Katie Tolman. I am running solely on collaboration of the town of Star Valley Ranch and the HOA. I'm the owner of Three Canyons Restaurant, and I've worked pretty closely with the HOA over the last 5 or 6 years. And I'm also on the Travel and Tourism Board recently with the town. And I just think that there's a great need for both units to come together and work together as we go into the future.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Alex Robinson. I've been a resident of Star Valley Ranch for 18 years. Never thought I'd be in politics or even for office. But I have some significant differences with the current laws and things that are going on in this town. And if you read my bio, you saw that I had certain stances, and I'm very firm on those. Through my campaign, I talked to several people over there, and there are a lot of like-minded people like me. I'm here to represent the other voice of the current administration. So if you have any questions like that, what I want to stand against, what's currently happening in this town, I'm going to answer all those questions.
All right, appreciate the candidates and those statements. As Mayor Myers mentioned, my name is Duke Dan. I'll be moderating tonight. And how this is going to work is I have a series of questions that were given to me by the current town council. I'm going to start with those questions. And then our audience, either those who are here in person or those who are watching on the YouTube channel, are welcome to submit questions. I'll get to those towards the second half of the forum tonight. If you'd like to text in those questions, the phone number is 307-203-4637, 203-4637. I can't promise I'll get to all the questions, but we'll do our best to get to as many as we can tonight as we go through this forum. So I appreciate the candidates who are attending. I'm going to ask the candidates to keep their comments within a certain time limit. I'll give you, it's either going to be 1 or 2 minutes. I'll tell you how much time you have on each question as I ask it. And then since I'm sitting right here next to the pulpit, I'll keep track of time, and I'll give you cues at the 1 minute mark, 1.5 minute mark, and so forth as we keep going through the forum tonight. So, if there's no other questions, I think we'll start with Taylor Ellis on the first question, and we'll just go through the rotation here. Martin went first in the opening statement, but Taylor, we'll start with you for the first question. This first question, we'll just do a 1-minute response. And so we'll go with Taylor, Katie, Mars, and then Martin. And the question is, what does the town mission and vision statement mean to you? What does the town mission and vision statement mean to you, Mr. Ellis?
What does the town mission and vision statement mean to me? As a town councilor, we have to make a whole lot of decisions. A lot of those decisions can fit into 2 main categories. Category 1 is things that have to be done. There's no way around them, such as the water is one we have to deal with. Other decisions that have to be made can deal with the quality of life. That's where the mission and vision statement come into play, because they set literally the guidelines as to how we should be making those decisions. So that's what it means to me and how I would interpret it.
I have a business background, so a mission statement is where exactly the foundation of what our town is. I wholeheartedly, as a town council person, will keep that in mind when making decisions. I love this community. I work really hard in this community, and I will work really hard for my constituents to continue to make this town an amazing place to live in.
Our mission statement talks about quality of life. And there's a lot of our people in our town who don't have quality of life, and I'm one of them. That was one of my inspirations to run for this office. And we don't have quality of life. Star Valley Ranch is no different than any other municipality. This place is beautiful. I love it, just like Katie said, Tim. We're going to be here fighting for this office. I'm going to fight. Elect me. I'm going to do the job. I'm going to fight for everybody here. I'm going to stand up for people that don't have a voice here. I've been on the other side of the podium. It's town council, and it's like talking to a brick wall. So I don't want to be that brick wall.
The mission statement of the town is to keep the quality of life for all residents. And that means to preserve the openness that we have, the type of living that we enjoy here, the recreational areas that we have. And that is the primary mission of the town council, is to preserve that and enhance it with the desires of the residents. So we need your help to go beyond the mission statement and do the other things that are possible inside the town.
Thank you. I guess you guys are welcome to pass the mic down. I don't know if you're wearing your step count tonight or not. If you want to get up and watch the podium, that's fine. But we'll figure this out as we go along this evening. Okay, our question number 2, a little more in-depth, so each candidate can have 2 minutes to answer this one if you'd like. I'll still try and give you the verbal cues on this as far as the time limit is concerned. Second question is, what do you perceive as the three most important concerns facing Star Valley Ranch at this time? Three most important concerns. Katie, we'll start with you.
I've attended a lot of meetings in the last couple months or years. The top concern is roads and our water system. The next concern are VRBOs, and the third is safety. And that's from me just sitting at these meetings, listening to what you guys are telling us. My stance on all of them, the roads, I honestly think the town is doing the best that they can. The taxes that we have in the state of Wyoming, they're working hard on getting our roads and water systems together. I think they're working hard. VRBOs are a hot topic. As a business owner, I like them. As a property owner, there's a lot of things. I don't have any that are right next to me. I don't have any problems with people in my neighborhood with them, but I know a lot of people do. I think that, again, the town is working really hard to figure out what the problems are, and I think that we can coexist with VRBOs. That is with some stipulations. I honestly think that if somebody's renting out their second home or for a couple months to make those rental payments or to make their mortgage payments, that's up to them as an investor in the property that they own in Wyoming. If it's people that are coming in just solely investments and they just want to rent and make money here, that's a totally different perspective. And I think that we can come together on that, but it's going to take a lot of feedback from the public and not just throwing things at the town. I mean, I think that Bruce and Kirsten, there's people up here that are doing a really good job. They're trying to figure out the problems. Safety, that was a really interesting meeting the other day, a huge hot topic. And I think what got put back on us as a community is we have to do more self-policing. That's all I have.
So I believe that the three, I believe Katie hit all of them, that are probably the top three items that could concern citizens in this town. One is roads. Roads aren't so bad in my neighborhood, but when I come up to this, Cedar Creek, I see the problems in other neighborhoods. Now, the water system's been troubling. I mean, I lived there for 18 years, and Mayor Boyd said that they were supposed to be done after 8. So we're 10 years too late. And I am completely against short-term rentals. When I first moved here, the following conditions from the association were there were no modulars and there were no short-term rentals. I didn't have a voice in either one of those decisions, and it directly affects me in my personal life every day. And I believe that is the problem with some other people in this town, not just me. And another thing is the safety. I went to the safety meeting also. I felt it was a good opening meeting for a dialogue, but I didn't hear any solutions. It's just like we're doing a circle when it comes to solutions. And I believe in my own heart that short-term rentals are a major cause and increasing risk to the safety of our community. And there's a lot of other things, but these are the most important, because this is just quality of life factor. I mean, everybody wants to feel safe. I don't feel safe anymore in my neighborhood. I'm scared of a lot of things. The water, well, I don't know about that. We'll find out more. The roads, gotta have money to do that. I have to end my time.
Well, everybody has said the four major things that are a problem, that we see going on in town. The water, I $50 to $60 million, I got the money from the state with the promise it was supposed to be the last one. But yet we continue to have more and more projects. We need to take a hard look at the end of the year support that we have. Are they telling us anything? That's just one issue. On the roads, the town, we put into place a process in which to look at long-term, where we can go with roads, what should be paved, what should be dirt, and we'll take a look at that again. Maybe it takes another fresh look to see. But there shouldn't be any reason why the roads are in disrepair. With our budget surpluses now, with the new census, the extra money we're getting on that side of the ledger, we should be able to address more of the roads and with the snow. VDROs, they're new to the town since I was on the council. There are some things I've heard a lot of different things. But I'm looking forward to coming in with a different perspective on that on the council and see if we can make something that works for everyone. And safety, yeah, we do have a concern. And this is one of the things we talked about in my first campaign, when I first came for the first seat. And that was, we're a tight community. It should be a tight community. Where I came from, we were in transient communities. Being in the military, we moved around a lot. Nobody talked to anyone. But we moved here because we had the opportunity to know all of our neighbors, our plat, all the other plats that are associated around it, and just having good, friendly conversations. So a lot of it can be handled that way. But it's going to take all of us. We have to have that open dialogue.
Obviously, the water is one of the prime issues that face the town. The last project is coming down Vista now. Once that is completed later this month, we will do a pressure test to make sure everything is fine. And at that point, we can stop chlorinating the water. And after 1 month is up, we can then go ahead and talk to the EPA and make sure as long as there's no additional chloroform in the water, we can leave it off indefinitely. If there is issues, then we're back to the tank on Green Canyon that's leaking, which is a problem. Roads, you will be asked to vote for an additional 1 penny tax this fall. If that passes, the town has committed to paving Vista, Vista East, and Vista West. That's where that money will go from that project. The third major issue is legal issues that are coming into the town as it relates to various laws that the town has. And we will be looking, hopefully we will be looking at those in the not too distant future.
All right, our next question tonight was also submitted by the town council, and let's just do 1 minute for this question. And I believe Mr. Robinson will start with you this time on this question. Many of our residents are very concerned about speeding, also ATVs and golf carts with underage drivers operating on town roads. What solutions do you have?
This is an interesting topic for me because my flat, I watched all the children grow up and ride on these machines and learn how to do the things that we do in Wyoming. And I'm not saying that I didn't have any children in my neighborhood that were speeding or they didn't know the laws, but the children in my neighborhood, when I confronted them as an adult, this is where I actually, I heard somebody say this in the safety meeting about being responsible. And talking to the children like we all were when we were growing up. And it seemed to work. I never had a problem with that. And even with the short-term rental people that come into my neighborhood children, I confronted a couple of them and they like slowed down and respected and somehow the word is passed through. But I understand other people have issues with that. And, I'm willing to listen to that, but I'm willing to try to work with the children. That's one of the atmospheres here that I love. tour of the city life. This is not the city, this is a place to enjoy the outdoors. And so, I'm can go either way on this, I really can't, but I want to support the children and let them grow up and enjoy the stuff that we enjoy as adults. But that's kind of a something that's really big. Thank you very much.
This particular topic goes back to something I was talking about earlier, and that is, we can make a lot of laws, and we can impose a lot of things, but there's very little way to enforce things. You can't just put your thumb on everything and say, make it that way. This gets back to community policing itself. And in most cases, you need to talk to the parents. And you have to have that conversation. And get them to slow down, and if they're really small, get them off the road. But it starts there. There's not much the town can do. We can't hire a police force. That'll cost millions of dollars that we don't have. The Lincoln County Sheriff can only do so much with the resources they have. So it's up to us. We have to deal with it. And it's got to be done through talking with the community.
There's only three options that I see that are available to the town to deal with speeding and people on the, children on the road. One is speed bumps, which we are installing in some of the areas that we're going on now. Problem with that is we can't install those on the paved roads. Two is signage. I saw some signs on a vacation trip that I just had that are huge. Line up with your speed limit. Then there's a sign about a yay wide, about so long, the flashes slow down. That will get their attention. And the third one, which was already mentioned, is an educational program for the citizens of the town.
That meeting last week got me a little fired up. And it's made me start to really think about, I've been thinking a lot about speeding on the ranch. I have a lot of kids, families, parents that come up to the restaurant, I know their kids well. And that is the concern, is one of those can get injured. But we also live in Wyoming, and we also, some of us got to grow up in Wyoming and live on backcountry roads and learn how to drive and do it respectfully. So I think that comes down to parents and education. There are options for speeding, increased law enforcement during high traffic times, the community coming to us or to whoever and saying, this is what I'm seeing, the repeat offender is doing this. Let's get a cop sitting out there. Lincoln County is on our side. They're here to help us. Maybe they just need a little bit more direction of exactly what, a little more direction and working with them instead of pointing the finger at anybody. There are options, but I've never had to deal with speeding in a different town, and yeah, it's increasing here. It's hard to see, and the best thing to do is slow down so people can't go by you.
All right, for our next question, let's do 2 minutes, and I believe Mr. O'Keefe, we are back to you to start off. All towns are facing fiscal challenges. How would you address balancing the budget and consider various alternatives and trade-offs?
Well, it's an interesting question, because you first have to look at it as what is the source of money for the town. And we have very little control over the funds that we get for the general fund. And that we have to make do with what we can get. We have to lobby the county and the state for additional monies in those particular areas. But if we have budget surpluses, we should be putting those away and plan for projects out in the future. So when we can save enough money to do that, we have the money to do that. On the water side, that's a different issue. We control towards water rates. And we can keep them very close to what's necessary to operate the system and make sure that the system lasts for a long period of time. So it's a very simple process that we can do that. There's always going to be argument how much you put away for future systems, but that's always a constant discussion. We do that. But other than that, we just have to make our pennies go as far as we can go.
The town's money comes from the state of Florida, excuse me. Let's flip back 8 years. Comes from the state of Wyoming and Lincoln County. We get 8 mills is what the tax is, comes to the town. Of that 8 mills, 3 mills goes to the fire district to take care of the fire protection. And we point out that we have just asked for a review of the fire systems in the town of Star Valley Ranch to see if we can get out of the worst category and get it moved down into something a little cheaper, which will be reflected in your homeowner's insurance. So that's the next piece, big chunk that comes out of that budget is the sheriff's department. We just ended up entering a new contract with the sheriff's department where we included some additional things about policing and having more patrolmen up here. That's about another $150,000 to $200,000 out of the budget, which leaves us with a relatively small budget item to cover the roads and other items within the town. The key piece from my perspective is looking at things long term. Because what we're seeing right now is, let's use the water system, for example. We have a leaking tank in one area that may or may not need to be repaired. We have some pumps that are in the stage where they're darn old, but we used up the last parts for repairing those pumps when we had the emergency last spring. So they're probably going to have to be replaced. That's where the money has to go, and from my perspective, where we need to look to take care of things for the long term and make sure the maintenance is correct.
In small town, we have very, as Taylor has kind of pointed out, we don't have a lot of money to deal with. But I think balancing out short term, or not short term, but the future, as well as what's going on right now with our roads, listening to the public, we all live here in the now. We need to be using our budget to benefit both the future and what is going on right now. I don't have a ton of experience with budgeting, except for in the business world, but it's pretty easy. You figure out what is most necessary now, as well as build a savings account for the future. I hope to learn more. I will learn more as elected, but that's how we have to use our money wisely.
So one of the things that has to happen if you want to increase your budget, you have to increase the tax revenue. So guess what? We need business. I would like to see business in town. I've been here for 18 years, and we have the space, and we have a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of land, but we have land in tactical places that would actually be advantageous for the town. I'm very pro-business. I actually have a vision. A lot of moving parts, as I said in my bio. But it can't be achieved. I would like to see our tax money that we spend on Bay, Etna, Alpine, Jackson, Athens, be spent here in town. And the taxes go back to our town. And I'm actually in favor of this 1%, or this 1 penny tax. can't take it from people in their water bills, their property taxes. That's enough, man. I can't take the property taxes anymore myself. I'm sure you guys. But I believe that we need business here. And I actually have a plan, and I have some people that I could actually, if I was elected, we could actually start moving into that direction. And Katie's business plan, maybe she might start thinking down the direction too. But I really believe we need more business, we need more money. And we can't rely on the state, we have to rely on our own sales. Thank you.
All right, just one or two more questions from previously submitted questions from the town council, then we'll move into those that have been texted in. Again, you can text in questions for the candidates. I'll get to as many of those as I can tonight. The number to text is 307-203-4637, 203-4637. Mr. Ellis, I think we're back to you to go first. How do you feel about future growth? Are you in favor of annexation? Why or why not? 2 minutes.
Key to future growth and/or annexation is the trade-off between what it brings and what does it cost you to do. Currently, within the town of Star Valley Ranch, all lots are sold. There are 4 lots that are commercial, and only 4 lots that can be developed for commercial purposes. If we were to annex anything, you would have to find out what the cost would be to the town of that annexation, and what they would bring to the town. There is a potential annexation that may be coming down the road in the not too distant future, and based on the people I've talked to, they're not in favor of it. So without that numbers system, what's good, what's bad, I can't answer how I would feel about annexation.
I'm for slow growth. Our town is growing, there are only a handful. There's only a certain number of lots that can be built on still. Commercial, I'm not opposed to more commercial growth here to have some things that are maybe necessary for a town, a little convenience store. Those things are up for discussion in the future. Annexation, I think that would have to go back to the public. I don't think as a town council person, I would be like, yeah, we should buy the airport from the HOA. That's not my decision. That is the people that live here, the people that fought here, and how we want to grow. I grew up in Jackson. I've seen tremendous growth in the last 30 years. I don't want to be the next Jackson.
This is the first I've heard of the annexation. So I'm not quite aware of what we're actually required. But if it doesn't have any monetary value for us, I don't think we need to do it. Right now, we have to get our own act together here and get our fiscal responsibility in place before we start adding another burden. It's hard for me to answer this question responsibly because I'm just not aware of the annexation. I'm with Katie on the slow growth too. And our town has actually grown progressively. It got a little better here in the last 3 or 4 years. But right now, until we get our infrastructure, because we need to really work on our infrastructure before we start pushing population growth. And I think for us that lived here for a long time, we don't really want to get slammed with a whole lot of people. We like to ease in, and it gives us more of this small kind of like the way things are growing, but as we're growing, we get growing pains. And so we're addressing the roads, we're addressing the water, we're addressing the safety here. And this is just normal things. But annexing anything that doesn't have any benefit to the town, I mean, if it's another plat, I'm against it. If it's some commercial property, let's get it. Because we can actually make money with commercial. And in this town, we have certain properties and we work it out, we can actually zone some other places for commercial. Because we need it here. This just can't be just a veteran community. We actually need more than just our town. We need services here. I mean, I envision a daycare center here in this town. I see them all over the place, and it's out of the way for places that I see. This is the kind of things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the next generation.
As everybody mentioned, an annexation is a double-edged sword. And we talk about commercial infrastructure. As mentioned, we have 3 commercial lots. Yes, we can do other lots, other parts of the town into commercial, or bring other commercial properties into it. But when we analyze where our revenue comes from the people, comes from the census. As one wise man told me when I was first running for office, our revenue comes from the people. It's the sales tax. It allocates the number of sales tax that we get from the state. It's about our population. Annexations are great from one perspective, and that is the developer is going to pay for all road infrastructure and water infrastructure that is inside of that development. So we don't have to pay for it. We get it at the end when it's developed and agree to the annexation. The rest of it is a slow payback. It has to be a very big benefit to the town to do it. Because the next time you actually can get the benefit of that is at the next census. There might be some intermediate gains on sales tax, but the biggest one comes on a census. That's where you get your gain. So if you do it, say we did it in 2021, we will see a benefit from that expansion until 2030. So we have to be very mindful when we do it and what we do. But if there's an opportunity that makes sense, yeah, we should try to make it work.
All right, there's about 20 minutes of time left. I'm going to move into some of the questions that have been texted in from the audience. And again, I'll get to as many of these as we can. I can't promise we'll get to all of them. We'll try to get to as many as we can. If you still want to submit a question, you can. Just text it to the phone number 307-203-4637. Here's one submitted question, and let's go with 1 minute on this question. And I believe Ms. Tolson, we're to you to start first. Where do you stand on allowing chickens in a defined limited fashion at Star Valley Ranch? And what do you see as the possible conflict with DCCNRs? Or is there any conflict at all, given the municipality is only responsible to enforce this code?
I moved to Star Valley Ranch knowing livestock was not allowed on the ranch. So I do not condone chickens or any other livestock on our ranch. It definitely goes against the HOA's DCCNRs. I appreciate, I've been to the meetings where kids are standing up. I appreciate what they're looking for. Unfortunately, I couldn't have horses when I wanted to in my subdivision. And that was because my parents chose to live there. That was the rules. We have rules. We need to stick to those rules.
I'm actually in favor of chickens. And I don't even know how to raise them. When I first moved here, I had my lot's perfect to have a little, I like fresh eggs, by the way. But I don't believe that all the flats can handle it. And not all long as there's not a rooster. You know, because where I live at, up above Buddy's, there was a rooster for years, and I could hear him before my lifetime, it was always 15 minutes before. And so, but when I heard the people talking in the town council, we were young families, and they wanted to just expose their children to raising their own food and stuff like that. But I'm open to having chickens here, but no roosters. Okay? And there's a lot more to go to that. I'd like to open that discussion on that.
Well, I'm all for a chicken in every pot, but let's talk about how they get there. That's a different story. There are some areas that would be beneficial for that, but you have to look at a number of different things. It's not just the cleanliness of the birds, how do you keep them free ranging in a pen, there's a lot of different options, and maybe you can come to some, some middle ground that will help everybody. But the other things that you also have to worry about is the predators that they bring with them. So we already have an ample supply of coyotes and bobcats, or mountain lions in the area. They're just going to have another food source. We have to consider that as well. So we can open it for discussion and see where it goes.
In terms of chickens and other animals, I currently am undecided. We have a council member who is looking at various options and has been doing extensive research into the pros and cons. I'm not sure what problem it is we are trying to solve at this point in time. But once that's all clarified and I get to see what is being proposed, then I will make a decision on that.
All right, let's do 2 minutes for this next question. Again, this one was a question submitted via text message tonight. And let's see, Mr. Robinson, we are to you to start first. How do you intend to gather input and opinion from the community, and what do you commit to doing with that information from the citizens?
So this is interesting here, because since I lived here, communication from town, or just even in general, the whole Star Valley is vague. And this is one thing that I have thought about over the years. It's kind of hard, you know, just the landscape here. And we have social media, and we can have town halls. But right now, I was intending on using like the Nextdoor platform to put out the message for this campaign. And I mean, there's not a lot, because how do we get the mass to look for this information? I mean, we do the bare minimum of notifications like posting ordinances, things like that in the mail center, but there's not enough copies for the entire town. So you miss these things. So this is something that needs a lot of work. I mean, I even thought about maybe we should have a radio station here, maybe our own printing of a newspaper of some kind. But there is no solution at this time. And this is something that whoever gets elected in this next election, they need to deal with this, because now our town is growing and communication needs to be a focus. I mean, because here we are, we don't get everybody here in our meetings, because our meetings could be the whole town anyways. But that's where I'm at on this, but this needs a lot of work, and I don't really have an answer for that. But I'd be willing to work on that if it's important, because not everybody gets the word until it's too late. Thank you.
Esteemed colleague is correct. It is a hard thing to do communications in our area. It's not like we're I'm used to back east where I grew up. And, you know, you had newspapers, you had a radio channel, you had a news station dedicated to your town, and everything was revolved around that. We don't have that. And to get those other infrastructure here is gonna take a lot of time, and we probably won't see it in our lifetime. But we have to use what we have. And that is the 307 home, that's a good idea, but there's some other things that we can do. Coffee with the mayor, that's a good way of doing it. But unfortunately, that gets only a limited amount of population to those meetings because they are in the middle of the day. And as the demographics of our community change, we have more working families in our neighborhoods, so we have to be able to reach to them. In my last tour, I'm starting to do something like hot cocoa with the council on one night. And we can do the same thing that the mayor does in those coffees with the mayors, but we can get other people and have those later in the evening, similar to this time, and just say, we want to talk about X event, put it out on social media, and then we can start saying and talking about those types of things. That's the only way we can get to our business. And then we have more events where we can just sit down and talk, maybe on the weekends or the summer. We do have to do something.
Having served on the homeowners association board for a short period of time, and being on town council for 3.5 years now, I've got a fairly extensive background, a number of people throughout the community. You feel free to give me input on an ongoing basis. In addition, I've attended the majority of the coffees with the mayor to find out what the people have to say. And one thing I would point out to all of you out here, if you go on the town's webpage, you will find an email address to every council member. I can tell you that in 3.5 years, I have received 4 emails from citizens of the town. They're there, please use them, give me your input. That's important. I need to know what you're thinking about.
Mine is just making myself available to meet with people. I'm very fortunate in a very small community to have a restaurant, and I love talking to people. I'm a problem solver. I want to make things better. So just making myself available via email, text, come up to the restaurant, sit down with me, maybe somewhere else, anywhere. I would love to come. I mean, I have a pretty golfers per se, the people that come to the restaurant, those are the people I'm seeing all the time. If there's other places that have groups that want to meet, I'm happy to meet with them too. I think just being open and to other people's opinions, which I am very open. I have a lot of different staff members in there that I have to talk to every day. I can find you guys are just, everybody in this community is just an extension of what I have in the restaurant. And being open door policy is how I did. And having face-to-face conversations with people, see what the problems are, and help them resolve them to the best of my ability.
For the sake of time, we'll just do 1 minute on all the remaining questions. So 1 minute answer. We'll just have a couple more to get to tonight. So next question is, and Mr. O'Key, I believe we're to you to go first. Do you believe the public should have visibility into the budget and the discretionary spending buried therein, and that the people should be able to have a voice in the decision making before committing the funds? How and by what process?
So I'm a big advocate for transparency on the budget. Everything should be disclosed to the public. One of the things I was working on that I hopefully can finish when we get back in is to disclose everything you pay for out of the water. All the different components of it. What's in the maintenance, what's in the cost of running the labor that goes into it, the repair parts, and what is a loan payments. It has to be all very open. Now, the town budget is voted on every year, and people who come to the meetings. It's an open book. There's very little discretionary spending inside. small amounts. But we do have to approve it inside the town meetings. So when we come to those meetings, it's all disclosed there. And that information has to be posted at least a week before the meeting. So everything is inside. It should be disclosed inside.
As Marty indicated, the budget, before it's passed, is dealt with 3 months prior to July 1st. State law says it has to be passed by July 1st. So 3 months prior, the budget comes out and is available. We also have established a financial advisory board that has been helping the town identify various places in spending and the cost benefits associated with that spending. I believe they are currently looking for additional members, so if you're interested in being on that, please notify the town and get involved.
Transparency is huge, and I'm a citizen of this community, and I want to know where the dollars are being spent, both the town and the HOA side. And the more, I think that we could do better by putting that stuff out there instead of asking for people to come look at our website. I think there's a lot more communication that can be done, and transparency and giving people an idea of exactly, breaking it down. We don't all know, I'm not retired. There are a lot of people that want to know where the money is and stuff, they just don't have the time to go read through things. I want to be that voice for them, where I do understand it and I can tell them in layman's terms, this is where the money is going, and it should definitely be up for discussion. It's our money that we're putting into our town and our association. We should be very aware and have a vote in where it's going.
I've actually gone to these meetings about the budget several years. I don't really like our accounting here. I think it's actually very vague. I actually have a background in accounting and budgeting. And I work for more money than the county annual budget. And one of my big peeves was when it was obvious we ran out of snow removal money. And when we ran out of snow removal money, I discovered that we can buy our road money with our snow removal budget. And I pushed the town council, the mayor, to break these up into 2 line items. Because what happens is if we have a strong snow removal year and we run lean, we're robbing the road budget. It's the other way around also. So the budget needs to be transparent and everybody needs to have access to it.
Okay, next question that was submitted, again, I'm not gonna get to every question texted tonight, so appreciate those that texted, I'm just trying to get through as many as I can. This question will be first for Mr. Ellis, that we start with next. Why are commercial lots in the town not being marketed so we have a tax revenue income for the town?
Okay, the 4 commercial lots that are in the town are the ones on the west of the town hall. We did have a group, 3 years ago, who was working on marketing those towns. We thought we had 4 businesses that were going to be involved in those. They are owned by, Abdi up in Jackson Hole, and we thought we had all 4 of them sold, businesses coming in. We got hit with COVID, everything went dead, and no more. I found out last week that there is another company that's looking at purchasing all 4 of them, that we're now hoping they can enter into an agreement with Abdi to buy the lots.
I know that commercial lots exist. I don't know what we plan to do with them as a town, but I think the citizens, before they are purchased by the town, need to know what the plan is.
So part of my business vision was to acquire, the town to purchase those 4 lots and take control. And actually the town can build the structures there, and they can have the option, the town can have the option of either selling businesses or leasing them, and actually renting them and making income. This is what I was talking about, tax revenue. We still are talking about increasing revenue here. And if we don't increase the revenue, we're never gonna get this place to where it's ultimately pristine. And so, that's part of my vision, and I actually have a vision of a whole lot of things going on there, and take a lot of work with some moving parts, but I really want the town to buy those 4 lots. It's not a lot, it's an investment, and even if we don't build on it, we can get somebody to build on it. It's not that big a deal, it's easy buying.
This is a recurring issue. The commercial lots were going to be under development when we were purchasing the town hall, and that was part of the package deal. Once we closed on the town hall and moved in, then some people were going to develop all those lots. But the services that were going to come with those lots didn't have very much utility for our residents. So, and then the whole thing went belly up during COVID. You have to really look at what you're going to get from commercial properties. The property tax doesn't change very much. The tax that you get from these entities goes into the general fund, so it gets reallocated by population. It doesn't do that. And I would caution about either way range to get those people to move in here, because we have a tendency to, think it's going to be a great thing, but when you look at it, you give away too much, give away too many concessions to get the commercial things in here. And when you look at it, those 4 lots do not contribute very much in the way of tax revenue to this, even if they were populated with commercial businesses. It may have some conveniences to the residents, and I'd be all for that. But to go whole hog and get just commercial businesses in here just to say populate them, that's not what I would do.
Okay, let's do just one last question tonight. Let's see, Ms. Toolson, we are to you to start first on this one. You talk about educating parents and legal drivers about speeding and proper driving policies. How do you plan on educating these illegal speeders and drivers?
Word travels fast in a small town. Bust a couple of them, give them a written warning, put it out there. I guarantee you it's going to reduce. I'd rather be that than the alternative of a kid getting killed from speeding, because that will also send a message. And we need to make sure that doesn't happen. So being proactive, talking to the parents, getting them involved. Maybe they're not sitting in the room tonight, maybe they're listening, or they're commuting from Jackson, they can't get here at 7. Again, finding out where the problem is, it just seems like a big cloud of problems. Let's figure out who it is and go to them and talk to them and say, hey, let's figure this out. We want to work together. We love kids. Kids are our future. We don't need to berate them, but make sure that it's safe. And going to their families, my dad would whoops my if I was a bad kid or I was doing something inappropriate. The kids don't want their parents knowing they're doing something out of control. So just having that conversation with parents and saying, look, this is for the benefit of our community and your kids' safety. That's how I would start to address it.
But no, so, like, I had a good experience with the children growing up when I was living here, and unfortunately, it's not everybody's case. But I think maybe a traffic school, maybe some permitting, I don't know, maybe they get their junior driver's license. I don't know. But this is something that's open for a lot of discussion, because we all care about our children and other people's kids, and we all want them to grow up and have a good time and enjoy the fun of one's life besides the city. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Bill.
Town can do a lot of things. One of the things it can't do is go against state statutes, and that's one thing I will not propose that we do. So minimum driving age is minimum driving age. But we can look at our town and look at the things. I don't agree with putting up more signs. If you come into our neighborhoods now with different flats, you got signs all over the place. It doesn't look like very hospitable people here. It's everything they tell you what you can't do. Not come in and enjoy. So putting up more signs, it may fix the problem, but the education process starts with parents and the residents. They need to be aware of what the kids are doing, and might not be, and then if the parents are aware and don't care, then we take other steps. But we do have to do it ourselves. It's gotta be that education, it's gotta be word of mouth, it's gotta be going door to door.
Think a little different perspective. If you listen to the sheriff, the safety issue, most of the violations on the roads, et cetera, are on holidays and weekends. Where do the kids come from? Come see grandparents. Grandparents have the toys. They have the golf carts. They have the ATVs. They have the off-road vehicles. Maybe we ought to talk to grandparents. As a grandparent myself, my grandkids aren't old enough to be allowed to be anywhere close to it, but there are a bunch that are. So maybe that's the place to start.
Okay, appreciate everyone attending tonight, appreciate the candidates, thank you to the town for putting this together. Again, it was broadcast live on the town's YouTube channel, and it'll be saved there, so you can go back and rewatch this at any time. I would like to just give each candidate a chance for a closing statement, if you would wish to do so. I will just do a 2-minute time limit on your closing statement. Anything else you'd like to say to wrap things up, then we'll call it a night. Yeah, so we went all the way through except for Mr. Rob. So we're gonna start with you on the closing statement, and then we'll be, we're gonna do that.
So I have no idea what to say for a closing statement, so this is where I'll go with this. So I'm running for office because I just see some things that just don't flow in my life, and I'm trying not to point fingers at people because I have a lot of fingers to point. I'm running for the people. I don't want to really say the working people, but it's the people that are families here. We have pretty much 2 groups of people here. We have part-timers and we have full-timers. And I believe that the part-time people are overshadowing full-time people that are here, that live here full-time, and have to endure the winters, endure all the things of life here, and the people that come here for the beautiful parts of our summer and spring and early fall, and then go back to their house. I'm for the people that are here all the time. If you need a voice, I'll be that voice, because I feel the pain. I have some personal issues with this town, and I've brought it to the attention. I've had some contentious encounters with this town, and it came to the point where people told me, it says, you want to change things, you run for office. Well, I'm changing my life, because I have a full-time job. I'm a construction superintendent. And, in fact, I work a full day today. but I'm willing to commit myself for 4 years. I'm not gonna run again. I'm not gonna run again. This is a one and done for me. So if you don't elect me this time, somebody else is gonna have to step up and take my place. Because these 3 people right here, Mark, not so much. The other 2 are the status quo. I'm opposite of the current administration. So if you need a change or want to give restoration back to what this town was when you first bought your house, vote for me.
Our town is a great place to be. Yeah, we have issues, but that's why we come to these meetings, that's why we make our voices heard, that's why we do work to make things better. I've got 3 generational family here, I'm committed, and I just want to help make things better. We do have to recognize what's wrong, we have to recognize that our demographics are changing, so the way we provide services and what services we provide, we do have to make changes in those. But we need to maintain the quality of life that we have now. We can do that. We can do other beautification projects, we can do a number of different things. That's what we want.
I'm running hopefully to use the experience I've gained over the last 3.5 years, continue moving this town forward in a direction so that the changes that are coming will be minimized as to the impact on you and your families. Please contact me if you have any questions, concerns, or ideas. I'd love to hear them. Thank you.
I just want to first say thank you all for being here tonight. It's nice to have people in the audience, for sure. The only reason, like I said, I don't have a platform besides collaboration with the people of this town, the HOA, and all of you. I think we live in an amazing place, and I hear it every single day when I have people that come into the restaurant. And I think some of us take that for granted and nitpick, and I know we want life to be perfect, but take a step outside of where we live, and it is pretty dang near perfect. Let's keep that going, let's keep growth slow. Like I said, I come from Jackson, I don't want to see that type of growth, but I want to give the people that are here 365 days a year a voice. My generation is working in Jackson. I'm lucky to have the opportunity I do to be here every day and not have to make that commute. But those voices and those families need to be heard as well. And I'm here I have an open mind. I'm willing to listen to anybody, and I can stand on a very, I don't take sides and hate the other side. Collaboration is this. And I think we're at a point where the town has a fantastic group of people. The HOA has a fantastic group of people. Let's all get on the same page and keep moving forward and making this place where grandkids do want to come. My phone number, my email, I should tell you that now. I'm always open to anything. So if you have any questions or comments, you want to come talk to me, I love it. Free Canyon's quite a bit. So please, I appreciate your vote.
All right, thank you everyone for coming.